These words are the fires that boil the rage cooking inside of me. You have watched so much TV that your common sense is broadcast through NBC. You speak as though you are getting interference from a Playboy station because you tend to sound like an ass. American children do things sometimes that we would be like, whoa. So when I see a child cursing out his parent like, oh my God, mother, just shut up, I would be like, yay? How dare you try to justify to me, a person who has been an American child, that we are unstable? Generally, and I'm speaking generally, we as a whole grew up with a certain set of manners. So we as Americans grew up like what? Animals? But even a kitten will snuggle up to its mom. A duckling will get in line with its siblings and orderly follow its mother across the road. So I ask you, what are we? What are we? All little terrorists who learn to say motherfucker before mama? Who draw pictures of guns and skulls rather than flowers and hearts? Are we so unstable that at 13 we began to craft the plan of how we would shoot up our future high school or university? Come on! Perhaps it's a cultural difference, you say. Brilliant. So when two men shoot another for his belongings, when a grown man kidnaps a teenage girl, rapes her, and bashes her head in on the land of your very country, what do you blame it on? What happened to all of their manners? Or could it be that perhaps all your murderers, rapists, vagrants, thieves were all unstable children, not able to catch their proper balance in your society, growing up on shaky ground, causing the screws in their head to get loose, swaying like a branch in the wind until they just snap? So don't tell me about America's unstable children. Perhaps you should be studying your unstable thinking, the way you stagger between your stereotypes that Americans are so wealthy and pompous and pretentious, yet Americans are so violent and rude and unmannerly. This American child was not unstable. This American child was raised in a two-parent home where I was spoon-fed joy, drank encouragement from my baby formula, had grandma sew me sweaters sewed with God's love so I knew he always had my back. I was told to show respect like my ID card, never leave home without it. This American child knew nothing but to have manners. I wouldn't even curse my mother in my wildest dream because I knew she would find some way into it and beat me till it became my nightmare. Not just me. America is filled with families teaching their little ones right from wrong, providing them with a strong foundation upon which they can stand, on which they can grow, like an American sycamore, tall, firmly rooted in nourishing soil, unable to be moved. So don't give me that shit about unstable. You see a few American students shoot up a school. You see a few American kids talk back to their parents, and from this data you form your hypothesis that American children are unstable. Hope you don't plan to be a scientist. Maybe you should sell fruit in the market though, because you surely have the concept of one apple spoils the bunch down packed. But we American children are not just apples. We are apples, oranges, mangoes, kiwis, bananas, a huge fruit basket, each fruit coming from a different place, being cultivated in a different way, sometimes by one planter, sometimes by two, sometimes by the neighbor down the street who didn't want to see a fruit decay in its youth, because sometimes we will get some rotten ones. Some mushy ones, some sour ones, some that will fall out of the basket and wind up smashed on the pavement. But who are you to judge our produce? Because in the end, we produce doctors, poets, architects, Michelle Obamas, painters, and scholars. So you want to dare try and tell me that the few American children you've seen on your news shows and movies represent all the children we have in our nation? Don't give me that. Stop being so quick to stereotype over 300 people into one poorly supported statement that you have crafted. Because the truth is, we may have some unstable children, but so do you. And so does China, Morocco, and New Zealand too. So just quit trying to generalize the way we talk, the way we dress, the way we dance, the way we season our food. Quit trying to group us all into being wealthy Americans with our Benzes in our driveways and hundreds of credit cards in our names. Stop making all Americans into the people you see on BET, NBC, MTV, ABC, and please, let the unstable children around the world just be. Let's just pray they don't grow up and think like you. Because misinformed adults are worse than unstable children can ever be. And that's the truth. So I just want to thank you for your time. This last final poem is called So Hot. It's the poem that I have been performing in the Apollo Theater Amateur Night Contest. That's going on October 31st. That's when the finals are. You know, people usually go to the Apollo to see people singing and dancing, so I'm very honored to be able to still be in the competition and doing poetry and doing something about Harlem, in Harlem at the famous Apollo Theater. It just means a lot. So if you're in the area on Halloween, please stop by the Apollo. I will need your applause, because you know the Apollo is judged by the audience. Okay. So here we go. This is So High. From our play, Renaissance in the Belly of the Killer Whale. Woo-hoo! from Harlem. I say it every chance I get. I love the sound of that name playing beats on my eardrums. I love the way it rolls off my lips. Harlem. When you say it, you gotta make sure your breath don't stink. But it never does. It smells like barbecues in the park that last to the brink of dawn. It smells like that boy named Sean who you split your first nutcracker with. Harlem. That Dutch name is where I played every double Dutch game, sang every 90s song, where I knew if I ordered cheese, eggs, and grits from Pan Pans, I couldn't go wrong. That's my hood. Harlem. Yes, that's what it's called. That is its name. You shouldn't call it out of it. That's why it's called the Harlem Renaissance, because so many talented and intellectual black folks came out of it, which is why I just don't understand how some